Hăīre, φίλε, and welcome. Today we're in John chapter 3, looking at verse 5 through to the end. We're going to stop right before verse 6, though we do about half the page. But before we move on to anything else, there's first a correction that I need to make from, I think, it's been several weeks now, but something I didn't notice until I was editing last week's videos. I misidentified a verb as a participle from, where is this? Verse 2. I think I put a note in one of the videos for last week because I didn't see it until I was going through the editing, and then I was reminded of again earlier when one of you left a comment, and thank you very much for doing that. If I make some stupid mistake like this, I do really appreciate hearing from it. So it was eleuthos, which I originally incorrectly identified as a nominative singular masculine aorist active participle, because alpha sigma is the nominative ending for aorist certain types of participles, and that's when my brain went to immediately. However, I had forgotten the principal parts in that moment for this verb and got it wrong. This is actually just normal second singular aorist active indicative. So the way that the Latin was translating it is actually the correct way. So that is an error that is no longer true. Well, that sort of error. Anyway, there's a correction for you. Sorry about that. If you see any more, please let me know. Let's move on to this part of text. We're still on the screen. Good. Here's our rubric. Everything that we're going through, as we're looking for as we go through this text. Let's get started. Apokrythe Jesus, amen, amen. Lego soi. Ean me tis gene thei ex hudatos kai pneumatos ou dunatai. Eis elthing eistein basileon tu theu. That sounded really weird at the end. Oh well. Our very first word is apokrythe. This one I think that we have seen at least once before in this chapter. It's got our theta eta ending there, which is third person singular. And then this is, well, the theta there should tell us immediately that this is from the aorist passive. This one really from the aorist passive. You got our augmenting vowel right there with epsilon. I believe the first principal part is apokrynomai, so this is a deponent. And it is indicative. And I think this is the last time that we're going to parse this for this chapter, for this chapter. I don't know if it shows up again, but we've done it enough. Jesus, omicron, upsilon, sigma is our nominative singular form from Jesus. And then this means answered. Single action in the past. Amen, amen. We've seen this before. Wasn't actually able to determine what type of word they were. I don't know enough Hebrew yet to do that, but they just mean either truly, truly, or amen, amen. It's up to you. All right, moving on. Lego. This is an omega right there, so that's going to be first person singular, present, active, indicative. Soi, and I think it's su, as in sigma upsilon, then su sigma omicron upsilon, soi son. I think those are the parts, or the different forms for this one. So this is a dative singular. We don't know the gender because both genders use it. I say, so we've got direct discourse right here to, not right there, right here. And amen, I say to you, as I was saying, amen, amen, I say to you, comma, eon me, we've seen this previously in this chapter, so we know that this means if not or unless. And I think the last time that we saw it, it was introducing a present general conditional sentence, so we'll need to take a look at our verbs in the apodosis and the protasis to see what tense they are to confirm that or deny that. So right here we've got the protasis. We've got genethe. This is from genao, alpha omega contract right there. Theta here tells us that this is going to be the aorist passive. Eta iota right there gives us our personal ending. And since we don't have an augmenting vowel here, we know that this is not going to be something from the indicative. Otherwise, there would have to be an epsilon right there. Instead, we have a subjunctive, which fits because of our aeon me right there. We should expect that. So third person singular aorist passive subjunctive. And then tis from tis t. This one is going to be nominative, singular, masculine, or feminine. And I've got my little chart right there. Tis t, masculine, feminine is the iota sigma. Neuter is the iota. And yeah, there we go. So I'm going to leave this untranslated until we have all the way down to what looks like the end of the verse with the apodosis and the prodosis both translated. X is our preposition. This takes the genitive in its case. We've got the snowplow going outside right now. Sorry about that. I hope it doesn't catch too much in the mic. So, hudatos, omicron sigma right there. That could be a nominative singular, except since we've got preposition right here, we shouldn't expect that. So, we should assume that this is actually going to be a third declension noun. And, looking in the dictionary entry for this one, we know that it's hudor, hudatos. So yes, genitive singular and neuter. This means water. And from is the normal translation, or out of. Water. Our prepositional phrase could be done right here, but we've got a coordinating conjunction, which means it could be connecting two objects of the preposition or two clauses. The editors have put in a comma right there, which means that they think it would be part of the prepositional phrase. And looking at this word, pneumatos, got another omicron sigma, and this is pneuma, pneumatos, so yes, this is another third declension, and therefore also genitive. I'm just going to pull that over. So yeah, this ends the prepositional phrase right here. Got a negative, and that wouldn't fit into a prepositional phrase, so that confirms it. And also neuter spirit. Moving on, oo, negative, not, and we'll probably have to end up revising that when we have an actual proper idea of how to translate this conditional clause. All right. In lieu of waiting for the snowplow, I'm just going to move on. I think it's going to be around for a while. Sorry, I can't do anything about that. Dunatai, tau alpha iota is our ending right there. We've seen this one beforehand. It's third person singular present. I'm not going to parse it any further than that again, since we've seen it recently. Is able, and this takes an infinitive, which we find right here was ace elthane epsilon iota nu, and the circumflex right here should tell us that this is a contract, which is pretty cool. Erkomai, eleosumai. Yeah, I don't remember what the contract form for this one is, but anyway, it is epsilon lambda theta right there, tells us that this is the third principal part, so aorist. And it is active and infinitive. To, which is not spelled with an I. I don't know why I do that sometimes. Come. And then you've got ace, is a prepositional phrase starting right there. This one looks like it's taking the accusative because tain from ho, hey, to. Basileon, alpha nu right there. Basileia is the same gender as this article, so that's good. To is not the same case for ace, so the prepositional phrase probably ends right there. And I wouldn't expect to be separating the first object of prepositional phrase from the second object. That's very unnatural. Besides, we've only got the one word left, so it must end right here. But then to theou, it only has the option of owning this prepositional phrase. So another place that we could have found it is ace to theou tain basileon. However, that's not the way that the New Testament, specifically the Gospels, use this phrase. I think it's always set up in this order, ace tain basileon to theou. Okay, so plus accusative, don't need the C's, singular and feminine, into the kingdom, and then to theou, genitive, singular, masculine, of the particular God, period. And our direct discourse could end right here, but it could go on. We don't know without looking further into verse 6, which we're not supposed to do right now. Let's go ahead and take a look at this in its own context. We can figure out genethe and dunatai. So, dunatai we know is present, and genethe is aorist. Present is of the primary tenses, and aorist often is used in the primary tenses. I don't remember the rules specifically for that, but I'm pretty sure that it doesn't normally count as a secondary tense. A secondary tense would be imperfect or pluperfect. Primary tenses are present, future, sometimes perfect, and I think in this case, aorist. So we've got present right there in the apodosis, and then a subjunctive aorist with the if statement right there. I think that this is just a normal present general. Which then means we translate it as a normal indicative. Unless someone is born once out of or from water and spirit, he is not able to come into the kingdom of the God. All right, now just this last clause to go over before we look at the greater context. Jesus answered, "Truly, truly, I say to you." And then what we just read, and then back to verse 1. Out of the way. But there was a man of the Pharisees. Nicodemus was named to him, of leaders of the Jews. This man came to him at night, and he said to him, "Rabbi, we know that you have come a teacher from God, for no one is able to do these signs which you yourself do, unless the God is with him." Jesus answered and said to him, "Truly, truly, I say to you, unless someone has been born..." Oh, we translated has. I'll have to change that in the next page. We want consistency. "Has been born from above," or again, I prefer from above. "He or she," but probably he, "is not able to see the kingdom of the God." Now, I go with he because he is just generic. It stands for both. It's not particular like she would be. He says, the Nicodemus says to him, "How is man able to be born once, being old? Surely he is not able into the womb of the mother of him a second time to enter once, and to be born once." Jesus answered, "Truly, truly, I say to you, unless someone is born," or has been, matches better with the tense, "has been born from God, from water and spirit, he is not able to come into the kingdom of the God." And this is actually a little bit more intense because you got ace. So there we go. That is everything from verse 1. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope this has been helpful for you, and I hope that you continue on next week. Have a very good day.
Hey, you not asleep yet? That's okay. I've got tons of other videos that are equally sleep-inducing. Check them out. Alternatively, you could take a look at this video over here